Okay, so it's been brought up to my attention that a lot of YouTube viewers want to know how I choose which bumper goes on which car and what bumpers I keep. Basically, the answer is I keep every bumper that's not rotted. And the reason for that is even Cavalier bumpers are good for something. Like this right here is a 1990 Celebrity. And what I have on the front of it is actually the original bumper. Now, it is actually just a piece of chrome and it's hollow all through the center. I have the factory mounting brackets, and then I did attach a piece of steel to help keep the bumper on. But that bumper actually held up half decent. This is a 2000 Acura TL. Now, the stock Acura TL bumper, if I can find it here in my pile, right here, just looks like a Honda Civic bumper. Does have a little bit of rot, but realistically, that's a good bumper for a small car. What we replaced it with is a 98 Grand Marquis or Crown Vic bumper. Those bumpers there make great bumper swaps for easy small cars. Like putting that bumper on the front of a Camry or a Cavalier would be phenomenal. As you can see, it actually goes right across. It's actually a very firm bumper. So it's all about what fits the car and the rules that you want to run. See, like I got a 74 bumper here. I got to be careful while I bring it. Right here is a Ford Taurus bumper. Pretty clean. That would be for a good mini bumper, just for a stock show. I got a Montana front bumper. That's a Grand Am front bumper. Here's some of the more weirder ones. I got a 91 Sundance bumper. Not the best, but it's a 89 Subaru, 2003 Crown Vic, a lot of Cavalier ones. And then back here around the corner on the ground, I actually got a 98 Buick bumper. Again, it's the same as the Celebrity bumper, just more of a hollow, tinny bumper, but you know what, it'd be good on a Mini. Let's go see some of my loaded bumpers. This is a 1990 Volvo sedan, and on the front of it is a bumper off a 95 Roadmaster. Now, this bumper was a tin bumper. It had no center backing. It was just like those Buick bumpers I showed you. But on the front of this car, the bumper gave way and allowed the frame to stay good. Like, the bumper's barely on there, as you can see. But yet this car is still good because the bumper I chose for the car was soft enough to fold underneath the hits to keep the frame good in the car. So sometimes a hard, stiff bumper is not the best choice for every car. Some cars can take a heavy bumper and some cars can't. I found that these Volvos do not do very good with a loaded, heavy bumper. They need something to give in the front of it. Now this is my 95 Accord wagon. This car here was the car I drove on the road. As you can tell, it's got a very healthy loaded bumper. What it is 2x4 by quarter inside of a 1982 Camaro bumper or Firebird bumper, whatever. The bumper skin itself was not very strong. It was very easy to stuff and it was flat, so I thought it'd be the perfect candidate for this piece of steel. The steel's just thrown in there and it's welded wherever it can be. And then on the back, I actually used 1/4-inch plate across to help hold the tops and the bottom of the bumper together, and I allowed the plate to be so large that it could mount to basically any car's width of frames. Like this can go on a Cavalier, this can go on a Camry, this can go on a Crown Vic. So it's a very versatile bumper, but the problem is not a lot of places allow this. So before you choose a bumper to weld to a car, make sure that it's allowed, number one, and number two, make sure the frame of the car can support the bumper. A very heavy bumper is going to destroy the frame. So you got like this Accord. You can't really see because of the snow, but I put plates on it, but it bent way up on top of the strut towers because the bumper was too heavy for the frame. Instead of the bumper giving some way and the frame kind of surviving, the bumper gave zero fucks given by that bumper, and the frame said, I can't do it, and it buckled. And lastly, here in Ontario for the last 2 years, a lot of companies have started to allow us to run these square tubings. I myself am not a big fan of these square tubings. I have less faith in this square tubing than that bumper. Now, why is that? The square tubing rules here in Ontario says it can be no wider than 50 inches. But yet a small stuffed bumper, like that Camaro bumper, that's 64 inches. And because it is a homemade bumper with a skin over top of it, it's allowed. But because this is just square, it can be no longer than 50 inches. Now, some places make you cut a 45 on the end of it. Some places make you cap it. Some places make you leave it open. There's plus and minuses to this bumper. The plus is it destroys stuff. It will destroy your frame, and it will destroy struts, tires, frames, everything else of the other car. It's cheap, which is always nice. It's very easy to put on. And the best part is when you're done, you don't have to cut it off and grind it clean. You just let it go with the car because you have another piece. Realistically, that's a $35 piece of steel. Is it really worth spending 25 minutes or 30 minutes with a torch cutting it off and then another 35 minutes grinding it clean? No, let it go. Put a new piece on. But that thing there is just about the same price, but because I have the bumper on it, I will repeatedly cut it off and reuse it. I don't really like these square tubing bumpers because basically everybody runs them. I find the rules that if you want to run a loaded bumper, you have to take the time and stuff a bumper and make it look like a bumper. You just can't throw a piece of steel on there. I get that this is making it easier for everybody and making it quicker, but it's taking the art. The art out of bumper making is now missing. As soon as you throw on a piece of square tubing on the front of a car, it doesn't look like a car. It looks like a battering ram. So that's my take on bumpers. But I like something like that. That's very simple to make and holds up. I think that's been on 7 cars. Even the stock Toyota Camry bumpers on the front, I really like those. I run those on Cavaliers for more of a stock show. I don't have any around to show you guys, but I really like the bone stock Camry bumpers all the way up to 2003. You throw those on the front of a Cavalier, and a Cavalier can be a good weapon. But what's your thought on the bumpers, guys? And remember, December 25th, 2016 is the last day to enter for the draw for that model Derby car. It's a Volvo.